Okay, I have the King Tech engine, and when I get a chance, I'm going to take it outside and run it up a few times. It's a little cold right now, but we will get it out there and try it. Um, One of the issues I had with sitting the engine inside the plane, these screws right here that hold this bracket on for the engine wouldn't allow the engine to sit flush inside the plane, so I had to cut away some material with a Dremel tool, and then afterwards I put a Dremel sander on and then finished up with a sander. So it came out nice. The engine sits flush. It sits where it's supposed to be in the uh, in the fuselage. And yes, it's pretty dusty down there because I just finished cutting this out. So you know that's not going to stay in there. Okay, here's the engine sitting in place. Now it sits flush. It's sitting where it's supposed to be. Um, the right dimensions from the actual thrust tube up to the end of the cone of the turbine. So that's good to go. And I just need to clean up the inside of this plane. In the previous video, I mentioned that I wanted to fill the tanks with fuel and then weigh it and see what it weighs with fuel. So I've done that. I'm gonna throw some pictures up on the screen. You'll see the weights that I came up with the fuel, and that's without the UAT, just the tanks itself. Um, the last video, I believe I mentioned I would take the test stand with the engine out, run it, and see how the fuel also flows from the tanks. And I wanted to get an idea how much time I would have with just these two tanks together. So just think of these two tanks as just one big tank that would be in the plane. Some planes have just one big tank and maybe a second tank they're using for smoke. So my timer is set at 5 minutes on the radio, simulating how I would be flying like I didn't do in the other plane. Some full throttle passes, most of the time half throttle, flying for 5 minutes. 5 minutes down here at this line, that's how much fuel was left in the tank after 5 minutes of flying. I want to be able to get at least 7 minutes of flying and still have some fuel if I need to go around a couple of times. Well, the way I simulated, it's not going to get me, I'm not going to get 7 minutes. This thing is only getting me 5 minutes. So what I ended up doing, I bought a second 24-ounce tank. I could have fit a 32-ounce tank, but that's adding more weight to the plane. I don't want to go any heavier than that. So this 24-ounce tank will sit at the bottom of the plane, but I'm going to make a little platform for it to sit on, a little cradle, I guess, platform for this tank to sit in, and it would be mounted like this here. I think I mentioned the weight was like about 6 pounds something. I have to look at that again. Total weight for this. So I'm gonna use, I made a cutout this here, where's let me lower the camera a little bit. This here is gonna sit, these little blocks, I'm just gonna throw it here together real quick here. Front, rear, two on the sides. It's going to sit in the bottom of the plane like so. This is going to sit on top, and I'm going to put some, if you want to call it, rails on here just to keep the tank from moving from side to side. I'm also going to put a strap in here, so there'll be rails on both sides of this here, both sides. And I also made some cutouts here so I can run a strap through. These rails may not be necessary. I don't have to worry about the back of the plane because this tank is going to hit the tube where the ring spar goes through, so I don't have to worry about the back of it, and not so much the front. And I guess I could probably get away without putting these rails on here. That also. So I'm going to show you what this is going to look like in the plane. Okay, this is just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like once it's in the plane. This is going to be the platform. All that's going to get glued in to hold the tank. The tank will sit here, and it will sit right up against this spar here. That's where that goes. Then, as you see how easy it just drops right in, and there's still some room. It's a little higher now because I make the platform. And then this tray for the main tank goes in like so, and then the main tank goes in here like that, and that's the way all this is going to look once it's finished. So hopefully that's going to give me another 2 minutes. So I really won't know until this thing is actually in the air and flying around, and see how that's going to work out. So what I probably end up doing in the beginning, maybe not filling the tank on the bottom first. So what's going to happen, this tank is going to fill first, this tank will fill second, and then it will go to the bottom tank. So, and as it's pulling fuel, it's going to start pulling from the bottom up. And that's the way I'm going to have it set up. So maybe the first run, I'll just fill just these two tanks, get an idea before even touching the bottom. So that's it. Okay, in the previous video I mentioned I was having someone make up these wing connectors for me, and here they are. So now I can easily connect the wings without going through all the individual connectors to plug this thing in. So that's good. Also, a few people mentioned to me about this rear connection to tighten down the wing. They suggested I get a long handle ball driver. I did that, and actually I can get to that bolt in the back to tighten down the rear end of the for the wing, and the other one has the hole up front here, so that worked out good. The other thing I did, I made another plate to go right in this section here. This is going to fit here for some other equipment that may get placed there, plus it's going to hide the wires underneath. And yes, I tightened the wires up a little bit, so that's going to cover that up. Here's the other plate that I made, and I have some of the equipment already screwed in, so that's working out. I haven't strapped the batteries in yet because I need to. If I have to move them around when I do the CG, I want them loose until I take care of that. Their batteries are plugged into the connectors that I mounted into this front plate, if you will. It isn't screwed in yet, and here's a switch that's used to power up the gear and brake controller from here, and of course the other switch here is a pull switch that powers up the rest of the plane. Okay, oh, one other thing, I have a 900 megahertz receiver place here. The antenna is all glued into place. That's glued in, so that's for my redundancy. And coming right along, so I'll be wrapping this thing up pretty soon. Okay, I don't understand what's going on with the left side of this plane, but here's the left flat servo. After receiving the servo, I put it in. It worked the first day, second day I believe it was, and then when I came back again, when I put it into takeoff mode, this is what happens.
Takeoff flaps down.
Flutters back and forth.
Landing flaps down. Takeoff flaps down.
All flaps are up.
Takeoff flaps down.
All flaps are up.
Takeoff flaps down. Landing flaps down.
All flaps are up.
Now the left retract.
Gear down.
Nose gear comes down, right side comes down, left side doesn't.
Gear up.
Nose is up, right side is up, left side.
Gear down.